go. So we've been talking about AI for a couple days and how basically, how can I put this? 85% of we'll just wing it here. 85% of projects fail, and why? The main thing is the risk gets too great, the spending gets too great, the ROI profile with nothing to show for it, and then they stop. And there's also a lot of confusion. What should we do first? Should we hire the scientists or should we organize the data? Well, most of what scientists do is organize the data, so you got to hire a bunch of people and you got to spend a lot of money and way before, and then you got to choose your path. Do you want insights or do you want prediction? And there's a lot of stuff to cover, which we covered in the last few days. Marketing is looking for they're looking for that combination of insight and predictive modeling. They want to guess where you're going to be next. CEO really believes there could be insights. So less about prediction, more about insights, and that there's a return on investment, and maybe that's scalable. Maybe we can cut some staff if we can automate marketing a little bit. All those things are possible. The trouble is it's a challenge. One of the things you need is a labeled data set, and few projects start out with that in mind. They start saying, well, let's collect all the data we can and let's see if it means anything. That's the old data mining model. And it's like, that's not how mining works. First, we figure out what we're after. This model is like, there's a mountain, there must be something good in it. Let's go look for it. So we're more of a sluice company. We know what we're after. We know how to get it. It's just a question of, do you want to set up the machinery or not? Okay. So the other thing with machine learning is the computer is going to see patterns. It's going to see all kinds of patterns. 80% at least are stupid. And if you have an uninterpretable machine, you won't know what you're stupid. So big data might be better, but it's probably not. Not at the beginning anyway. You got to get a foundation of what variables matter to you and to your customers. Not only is it literally garbage in, but even with the best data, it will make associations. It will find patterns that are surprising and irrelevant. Okay? So you got to have a good labeled data set, and that's part of how we start. We're going to guarantee ROI on your project. We're going to guarantee that we're set up for it within 3 months of getting the data in, and the results usually take about another 2 or 3. But you don't have to pay for those. We just wait for the results. We're on the slow path, but the good path. Okay, so we limit the scope. We're probably going to actually limit it to 4 companies that we're going to take on for this guarantee, because it's a lot of work, especially at the beginning, and so we're not necessarily going to take you just because you call. So you can call. It's safe, free. Let's talk. But there's a clear development path, and we have 4 proven validation methods, 5 steps. Here's the 5 steps. We start with a sales promotion label data set. And we've basically been in mail for the last 25 years. We've done a little bit with email. We've done a little bit with media, TV. But for this kind of test, you want rock solid. And print is the most rock solid, which brings up, I'm going to be at the print event the 6th and 7th of August up in Minneapolis. It's going to be entrepreneurs from around the world meeting up with some of the best printers in the world. Some of the speakers are WDMA members, so it's going to be great, and we'll probably do a meetup. So I encourage you, if you've ever thought about print, or if your social media or your click strategy or your lead generation is starting to peter out, maybe it's time to go back and re-examine another channel. If it was 1995 and you weren't doing the internet, and I said, hey, you ought to look into the internet, you could have made a fortune. I did say that. Now I'm saying, let's look at print. Okay, so we've got a solid, rock solid label data set. We've got automatic interaction detector. That's an automated system. I don't know why my cursor isn't showing up all of a sudden. Son of a gun. This is always an adventure. Automated validation, real world validation. Okay, so there's 4 kinds of validation. We already covered mail. We use a tree structure. The advantage is that you see how one variable behaves, and then you see how other variables behave in that structure, and it goes down. It's very logical. It's very understandable. I walked Dick Cabela through the phishing model when we first did it, and I asked him to guess which in a particular variable, which ones would win: urban, rural, high income, low income, all that. And then I told him, I said, if you had one catalog left, would you send it to this guy or that guy? So I sent it to that guy. That's what this shows. He said, that's what fishermen are like. So he knew we were on the level. It's 100% transparent. We use about 500 variables. That's our limit, but we usually create about 1,000 over time. So we drive it by profit, so you can see it's not p-values and a bunch of obscure statistician stuff. Okay, then we got a human. We got a guy who's been doing modeling for 25 years. Success after success. Everybody says they've got success stories. Okay. Probably not like this guy. And he looks at variable after variable, validates everything, and that's maybe our key value added, that we have both the ability to look it over and that we do look it over. And then we do an automatic validation. We split the last year's promotion into 2 piles. One is the model pile, one is the validation pile. And we iterate. And a typical model takes about 25 iterations to build. And that keeps the human guy honest. If a variable only works on one side or the other, it's a little weak. So anyway, then we use real-world validation. Imagine that. It's hard to make money with data if you don't make an offer. That's in my book. It's around here someplace. I keep them laying here. You got to make an offer to see what the ROI is. So we guarantee that there'll be an ROI. We're going to compare how we do it with how you do it. Right there. Head-to-head uniques test. And we guarantee that you'll have a quantified view of the true value of the process of machine learning in your company. And at that point, we pause and we let you see how it did, which I think is just a powerful, absolutely safe deal. You're basically paying for 3 months of development. We build a custom database for you. We also build a custom predictive model from 1 or 2 promotions, historical, as you did usually the year before. That builds our head-to-head test panel. And flat out, you'll know down to the penny what the difference was, what the impact was, what the causal force was of the model versus what you're doing now. Now, I have to say, we do write the contract for longer, so when we win, and we've always won, I don't know why I don't tell anybody, but anyway, with Musician's Friend, I have a letter that says we beat 8 different modeling firms. This is not against RFM. We beat 8 different modeling firms in 11 tests of 500,000 pieces or more over 6 years. And the last one got us in trouble. We won by 321%. Imagine how much more effective your lifetime value, your customer value would be with 300% bump. Okay, so anyway, they accused us of cheating. That's when we found out that they were actually doing the tests. So, give me a call. No obligation. We'll talk about your situation. There may be a way, if you've never done mail, we should meet at the print event. But if you have, and you're wondering what to do to improve your company and grow, we've seen extraordinary growth stories. I recommend my book, Spinning Straw into Gold, available on